Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Mini Auction, and welcome back to another model comparison video. This time again we are versing Minichamps against Bburago. So that was the first video I did, and it did really well actually. I did the Alfa Romeo, the 2022 Alfa Romeos, side-by-side comparison between the Minichamps and Bburago editions, and this time it's no exception. I also did a video on Max Verstappen Japanese Grand Prix of 2022, and that was Minichamps versus Spark, so they're like the two model leaders of the Formula One world. So this time, as you can already tell, it is going to be the 2022 Mercedes-Benz of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. We are comparing the Minichamps counterparts to the Bburago ones. I think I said in the Alfa Romeo video that I did about, I wasn't sure if this base model with the cheaper boxing and the cheaper branding was the identical model to what is inside the more prestigious ones, just minus the helmet. So I thought I would get two George Russells, one in a big display case, one in the little one, the cheaper box, so we can offer those side by side as well, just for you people if you're going to go out there and buy one, if they are actually the identical model, just missing the driver helmet and doesn't have as nice a branding box. So I thought that'd be a nice comparison to do in the video, as well as compare them to the Minichamps editions. So, first thing we're going to do is just look at them from outside, and I've got to be honest, as much as I dislike the fact that these models aren't able to be seen, you know, there's not like a little Perspex window cutout here, you know, that you can see the model in, I do really like that. I think it looks really nice. The red, the white, the green stripes on it against the black box. Number 63 there with George Russell's signature. I just think it looks really nice. And the same goes for this as well. I know it's the cheaper brand, but that looks quite smart, doesn't it? You know, with the Bburago there, the addition of what model it is. I think it'd be nicer if this outer packaging had like a little cutout there, so the proper case could be seen and you could see the model inside. But yeah, looks really, really smart. Again, on the top as well, you've got the Mercedes logo, the Bburago logo, of course, and then round the back. Looks a little bit more standard there, but you've got the official reflection there, the official stamp that says it is Mercedes certified model, and then all the information and gubbins on the back there on the bottom. But yeah, that is quite a nice model, quite a nice display case. The same for Lewis Hamilton as well, of course. Lewis Hamilton 44 with the signature. The Bburago there in the chrome is quite nice. It does feel like a prestigious model, you know. It looks like a really nice box, you know, a nice presentation box. No expense spared at that, I would say. It looks really, really nice. And again, the same for this one. As you can see, we can see the model there. Even though it is George Russell 63, you still get Lewis Hamilton and George Russell on the back. On the side there, you've got George Russell, and on that side you have Lewis Hamilton, of course, as well. Again, with the official Mercedes logo on the left side there. But yeah, it is overall really nice. The Minichamps ones, of course, again a plain black, a specific edition for the Minichamps team, because normally they just have the checkered flag, so Mercedes have got their own branding this time around. The black on the silver looks really nice, I must admit, and it's nice that you can see the model itself. George Russell there in the corner, left hand corner. But yeah, looks really, really nice, doesn't it? The model itself looks great. And the branding itself looks nice. A plainer design, I would say. And for Lewis Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton's car always just edges it for me, because it has the, of course, the more pronounced yellow wheel nuts, the yellow 44, the yellow helmet, and the yellow T-cam as well for the camera. So that, to me, just stands out a little bit better than George Russell, but that is obviously not Minichamps' fault or anyone's fault. That's just how the branding is. And Lewis Hamilton, of course, there in the left side again. So yeah, not much to compare between the two. But yeah, overall, I would say they're fairly evenly matched in terms of presentation. I do like those, but obviously I dislike the fact that you can't see the model. But these are really nice as well. So our next step is, I'm going to get these out of their Perspex box, but I'm going to leave them on the plinth. These are from my personal collection. I don't want to damage them, but I will take them out of the Perspex box. These ones, however, I'm going to fully undo, unfasten, and we're going to get to see the models up close. I'm going to hold them and things. These are, of course, a lot cheaper. If you didn't see the previous video, then you're looking at, I mean, not at the moment, because these are obviously a couple of years old now, but if you're able to pick these models up at retail price when they first came out, you're looking around about £75 to £80 each for the Minichamps, and about 20 to 25 for the ones in the fully, you know, Perspex cases, the fully Perspex boxes, and the more exclusive design. And then for these you're looking around £10 to £15. So there's a bit of a difference between those two, which is why I want to compare them separately between each other as well. But yeah, the massive difference between, like say, £25 and £80 is massive. Now, though, these days you could probably pick these models up for around £50 each. They've not come down a lot, but they have come down enough to make them a little bit more affordable. And these models themselves only cost me £18 each and £10 for that. So not bad at all, really. So just to offer you a perspective on what they cost me and what they cost when they were new. But there's still a massive gap between Minichamps and, of course, Bburago. So we're going to see if it's worth that kind of money. Is it worth that kind of difference between £55 new and between £40 to £50 after the price decreases over the years and they become less rare or more common, etc., and the demand for them dies down? We're going to see if they're worth that kind of difference in value. So here we are then. These are the models unboxed. Of course, the Minichamps, I've taken the Perspex boxes off them, and these are fully out of their boxes. So before we do the comparison between the Minichamps versus Bburago editions, I'm going to do a comparison between the George Russell model that was in the cardboard box compared to the one that was in the Perspex box. Now, we know the helmet's missing on these ones, that's what makes them cheaper, but are they actually different tooling, you know, less designs, maybe less attention to detail spent on them? Let's have a look, side-by-side comparison of those. And first initial reactions are, I cannot see a difference. I've got to be honest with you, I cannot see a difference whatsoever there. Yeah, I really can't. They would say they're pretty much identical models. They are just missing the helmet in the cheaper box. So it's interesting to know, because obviously if you're just a collector that likes to put them in such as these, that I have my British Touring Car models in, then if you're not really that bothered about the helmet, which is quite obscured by the halo these days anyway, then you could in theory buy yourself a cheaper model and it still look just as good a quality as the other Bburago models that are in the more expensive cases. You're just missing the helmet. So yeah, food for thought there, but for me personally, I cannot see a difference between those models at all. I know I've already seen some videos that say that they are identical models, but I just wanted to compare for myself, you know, and to people that have never seen these kind of videos before, it's just nice to have that second opinion, isn't it? So yeah, I would say identical models there, but just missing the driver, and just missing, of course, then the driver's helmet as a result. So we're going to say goodbye to the cheaper of the George Russell models. But again, looks absolutely lovely, doesn't it? Look at that, the chrome reflects and everything. Looks really, really nice. Yeah, it's a great addition. Certainly is a great model, that. But just missing George Russell. So we'll say bye-bye to him. Bye, George. And we're now going to compare George Russell with George Russell. And, of course, Lewis Hamilton with Lewis Hamilton. So let's kick things off for the differences then. Now, this is a specific Bahrain Grand Prix 2022. So the first immediate thing I notice is that the George Russell number there is just in blue. Number 63 is just in plain blue there, whereas, of course, that's black with a blue outline. I'm not sure if that is due to the fact that this is model specific and this is maybe a more generic one from throughout the season. I wouldn't really know without looking back how the championship went. Of course, soft tyres on these, hard tyres on those. Again, there's not really much difference between them, just an observation. The red on the Ineos is vastly different, however. This is a lot lighter shade. That is a lot darker, as you can see there. I would say that the darker shade is more accurate to the model in real life, to how the Formula 1 car actually looked out on track. And again, the Ineos on the front inner wing edge there, compared to the outer edge there. Again, massively different. We've gone from red to burgundy. That is more like the soft compound tyre, isn't it? As opposed to the burgundy colour there. But again, a minor detail. You know, some people might really get annoyed by that, but for the price point of £20 a model for these, compared to £80 a model for these, is it £60 difference? You let me know in the comments. You can only go on what you would personally find acceptable. Again, you can see that the details like the rear floor stay that you can see there is missing. It's not there at all even. It's not even a casting. It's not even a plastic mould. It's just missing completely there. And again, the aerials are not as detailed as what they are on the Minichamps model. If it will focus, you will be able to see that there are several little aerials just there on the front nose onwards from where the 63 is on that front area. Just all there, you can see the detailing. That is something that is always lacking. You've just got these little bumps where the aerials would be, if they'd be there. The blue accents actually here on the front wheel covers, so to speak, are red on George Russell, which is an interesting one. Yeah, we'll have to look at Lewis's in a minute, but yeah, they're blue on this car and red on that. Again, that could be something to do with the fact that this is how the car was later in the season and this is how it was just for Bahrain. But again, it's just a general observation. Not something I'm saying is 100% wrong from Bburago. I'm just saying that's the differences between these two models I am comparing. From the front, again, you can see that the positioning of the 63 is well different. The light blue 63 there is at the nose cone, whereas George of the Russells is more on the actual monocoque of the vehicle. Further up in between the aerials, so there's a big difference there. Again, that could just be the fact that this is a different overall. This could be the last race of the season for all I know, and this one's Bahrain. So the front wing again looks really nice. Again, it's just the little details, isn't it? Little details there are the little silver parts that indicate where the jet flap is and where the brackets go and the adjustments are made. Just not as quite as pronounced on the Bburago model. Across we go. We'll have a look at the helmets, see if we can focus in on those helmets. There is actually a vast difference this time. I can see with my eye that the George Russell design on the Minichamps is far greater detailed this time around. On the Alfa Romeo ones, I was genuinely surprised at how good the helmets were. There wasn't much difference, especially on the Zhou Guanyu model. The helmets weren't much different, but this time I can tell miles apart. The George Russell one, I'm struggling to focus, but it's certainly more black. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still got the number 63 on the top of there and the Mercedes logo. I know you necessarily can't see it. Apologies for that, but yeah, there's the little details on there. But just the Minichamps one is done a lot better. It's not just slapped on. It looks like it's kind of, you know, it's been dipped in something just to get it quickly on, as opposed to genuinely done with detail. The rear areas, of course, again, you can see the rear stay difference there. Look, you can see that little silver piece there missing on here. But yeah, I mean, overall, though, again, for the price point, it's difficult to complain. It really is. I know some people find that they want to pay for the quality, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm like that myself. You know, I would quite happily, you know, and I always do pay, you know, expensive for the Minichamps models because I do like them. The rear wing's not much different either. Again, just little details like the gapping between the branding there to indicate where the rear wing DRS flap would open. That's not good, it's just painted all the way over. But again, it's just a minor thing, isn't it? That's just a small detail that you notice. It's also got like little dots on. Can you see those just around the Petronas area? Again, that's with the adjustment areas, I'd imagine. And on there, it hasn't got them. But overall, really, really nice model. Again, from Bburago. Minichamps, we know what we're getting with those. But Bburago, I think have done a good job once again. I wouldn't say as good as the Alfa Romeo, though. I was genuinely blown away by the Alfa Romeo. But maybe this is because I know what the expectations are once again. Again, the rear rain light, not as detailed on the Bburago model. Very much just a lump of plastic, as you can see there. And then on the Minichamps one, you've got the actual detail of where the rain light would flash. You've got the exhaust in a different colour. And of course, then the Ineos difference in colour once again there. So yeah, that's the difference between the George Russell models. I think we're going to find similar sort of differences with, of course, Lewis Hamilton. And again, the first thing to notice straight away is the T-cam. So this seems to be a reoccurring theme with Bburago. They don't paint the different coloured T-cams, so they just have black for all of them. As we can see, black, yellow, very, very different there. So that's something just to know. If you're ever going to get them, the T-cams are never going to be coloured by the looks of things. Interesting to note, actually, these I commented that were a different colour on George's car, yellow and yellow this time around. So I'll have to have a look back and see maybe there is a mistake on one of those models. Maybe it should be blue to indicate the blue of the number 63 for Minichamps, or maybe the Bburago model's got it wrong. I'm not too sure on there, but it's just interesting now these are 2 yellow and it matches the number and of course Lewis Hamilton's helmet as well. Again, the Ineos, slightly different shade of red once again, and again it's the same model, isn't it? So the detailing once again is just not quite there in comparison to the Minichamps model from the Bburago, sadly. But again, I'd say sadly, it's a £20 model versus an £80 model, a £70 model, even £50 now, even if you can get these for £50. This is still only going to cost you between 15 and 20, and there's still a £30 gap there, and I don't see £30 for someone that's just starting out collecting in Formula 1. I really don't see £30 worth of difference. Again, the position of the number is different on the position of the nose cone compared to the chassis, so again, just something to know. Again, I think that's just an addition of the car. The helmet on Lewis Hamilton's actually looks a lot better than the George Russell helmet did, so that's something to note. Although it is slightly off-centre, I think even you can pick that up, that it's been stuck on slightly to the left-hand side. Which is a shame, a bit of a shame that, because it looks a really good detail actually. For a model of this price, it's just not quite centred correctly on the Bburago. But yeah, overall, I mean, you get to see the detail of the Minichamps look. It just looks fantastic, doesn't it? And I think they've done a really good job with chrome as well. You know, look at that. They're both reflecting equally together there, look. It's out of focus because the sunlight's on it in a funny way, and both models are reflecting well. I thought chrome would be a sticking point, and I thought they'd look a little bit flat and not quite as shiny. But they've got the turquoise colour. Absolutely spot on, and I must say that the chrome is very, very good. You know, it's just got that little bit more detail on it, like a little bit more flecks of silver in the Minichamps, but the Bburago stands up really well against it, and I thought that it would be a struggling point for the model, I must say, but it isn't. But yeah, overall, I would say absolutely fantastic. But once again, from Bburago to deliver a model for £20 that Minichamps are charging, you know, £70, £80 plus when they're new. I think they've done a really good job. I really do. I think it stands up well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this comparison video once again. Let me know your thoughts and feedback down in the comments. Would you now make the switch if you're just starting out a collection? Would you start with Bburago? Would you make the switch to Bburago? Or would you always stick to the loyalty of the, be it Spark or Minichamps that you prefer? Your preferred choice. Obviously, Minichamps have the majority of the field. Bburago have a few, but they don't have Haas or Williams or the Visa Cash App team. So, you know, they're missing a few models there. Spark tend to have the majority these days, to be fair, but don't have the full grid. And, of course, Minichamps has everyone except Ferrari. So, yeah, let me know down in the comments. Like I say, what do you prefer? Which of these would you go and buy? Do you think there's a difference there between the second-hand market now, getting these for about 18 to 20, getting these for about 50? Do you think it's worth that step up? You know, let me know. I'm going to try and do some newer models in future as well. Maybe get the 2023 grid. 2024 grid, I believe Bburago are bringing out already. Minichamps have yet to release 2024 cars that have got the same out in Bburago, if that makes sense. I think the stakes are out at the minute, and also the Visa Cash App cars. But, of course, the Bburago haven't released them yet. They've released Mercedes and Ferrari. So, yeah, let me know, guys, down in the comment section if you enjoyed this video. And if you did, then please, you know, as always, do the usual stuff. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, much love.